Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I want to thank you for being here today and taking some time out of your busy schedule to spend it with me. Today is Thursday, August 6th, 2026, and I'm at my regular time, 10:30 Central Time. So let's go ahead and get started here with our introductions. I'm going to just make it kind of fast because people probably do get kind of bored watching all the announcements before we get down to crafting. So I want to just go over a few things really quick. First off, we have the product of the month for August. Oh, I better go back into my introduction. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Debbie Foster. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and I have been doing Stampin' Up! For quite a few years now. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you're working with to be able to shop, I would love to earn your business. The link is in the description of the video if you'd like to click on that to do some shopping, and I'd so appreciate it. That's what keeps me going. All right, so speaking of shopping, this is the product of the month for August. It is called Glow of Harvest, and it's 12 by 12 paper. Let me get my cheat notes here. I can tell you a little bit about it. With a $75 order, you can add this onto your order for only $5. And it has a pearlized finish, which adds a lovely shimmer to every page. And tighter patterns make excellent backgrounds. And like I said, this is a specialty paper, so I'm not sure how many you get in that pack. Let me look at my next flyer. Maybe it tells me. 12 sheets. Okay. It says 2 each of single-sided design, so it's not double-sided. It's only one side. Pearlized finish adds a lovely shimmer to every page. And the colors are Cajun Craze, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Golden Glow, and Pecan Pie. And it's showing it with some pumpkins, so this would be a good fall pack to have. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. All right. And then Paper Pumpkin for... I'm shuffling papers here. It's called the Kindred Greetings for the August Paper Pumpkin Kit. I tried to put the thing up here, but it wouldn't let me download it into my computer, so I'm just going to tell you about that. But until August 10th, you can sign up for Paper Pumpkin kits and you'll get 25% off your first kit. This is for new subscribers only. So you want to keep that in mind. It's a good way to try out Paper Pumpkin and see if you like it or not. So I want to introduce you to that. And the August one is called Kindred Greetings. And it has a textured card base and envelopes. So I'm not going to really go into that. I'm going to kind of skip around. So we have a lot of announcements today. We have a paper sale going on right now, so let me get to that. Well, we want this one instead. It's a paper sale on our designer series paper, 15% off, and that's select items. It's on the designer series paper and some cardstock, so you might want to check that out. That runs until August 31st. It says stock up on your favorites or explore new colors and designs. So that's a good thing going on right now. We have 2 new kits. We have the Witchy Whimsy hat kit that just started, and that is $28. And then another kit is called Crafted Blooms kit, and that one's $14, but you don't get a stamp set with this one. It's got all the punch outs and everything to make these cards, which is very pretty. They look really cute. All right, so we're going to just skip all this and we're going to get on with the program. So let me remove these, put me back up on screen. All right, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but maybe I'll think of it later. Be sure you like and comment when you come on, and be sure that if you're watching me on my YouTube channel, that you hit that subscribe button, and also that little bell that It's right next to that where you'll be notified when I go live. All right, so let's go ahead and turn my camera around, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to keep you here all day. We're going to be doing some hot foil project, so that might take a little extra time. So I want to go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and start with that hot foil. My machine's all heated up here, so we're ready to go. So let me just grab our supplies out here. And I'm going to be using a few different. Let me get a drink of water. I'm having an issue there with my throat. I lost my voice there for a second. Imagine that. Okay, so this is our new Flourish and Frames hot foil dies and stamp. So we're going to be using that today. And to go along with that, I brought in my scalloped wishes and also the Forever Florals. And I want to tell you that our last chance products have just updated. So there's a lot of things in there that are marked down. And we're going to be using the Forever Florals, and that's one of those that are marked down. It was $19. It's marked down to $13.30 now. And we're just going to be using the Sentiment Thinking of You for the inside of our card out of that stamp. You might hear traffic in the background. I guess we had an accident on our interstate last night, about 4:39 this morning, I think it said. And we've still got trucks and everything going by our house right now. So we live on a highway, so it's their detour, I guess, is taking them all off of the interstate. So it must have been a bad one to be down this long. So I pray for anybody that was involved. All right, so let's get back to our program. This is the card that I made. It says, hello. Look at that pretty foiling. I really got hooked onto this foiling thing. All right, I just got my layer of cardstock on the inside. I haven't stamped that one yet, so we'll do that on our card today. All right, get my instructions out here. And I might just set that there out of the way. I'm going to bring my machine over here. This is our hot foil system machine, and I've got it heating up already. And it comes with a cooling mat that you put your dies on there to cool. But I'm going to keep that set aside for now because I'm going to be cutting my foil. So let's move this out of the way so I don't burn myself. I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer. And we're going to be using the gold foil today. So you get 2 rolls in a box for $12. And they go a long ways. I've been using it and you can hardly tell. All right, so I want to, let me see, I didn't say what I cut my foil at on this, did I? It's 5 inches wide. So I'm thinking probably, let me see here, let's get those out here and get a rough estimate of how wide I need that to be. So these are the hot foil dies. They're a little bit different looking than what the cutting dies are. You can kind of see they're more dull. They're not as shiny. So we're going to be using this one and this one and this one and this one. We're using all 4 of those. And I'm also going to be using these curly looking things. So we're going to take those off. And I think that's all of those. I'm going to set that aside for now. I need to put my card out here so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm thinking I might be able to fit those onto that one. So let's go ahead, and this is about probably do it 4 inches. So it's 5 by 4. I'll slip that up underneath our cutter. My air conditioner's fighting with me, the air. So let's persuade that. We'll go with 4 inches. And I'm going to cut another one the same. So we have all right, we'll roll that back up and put it back into our box. And I can move that out of the way for now. So like I said, the machine's already heated up. My red light has turned solid. And we're going to put our dies onto there. And I think I said the little ones next to that. You can do it at the same time. All right, then we push the button again. Wait for those to heat up. And I guess I should have started out with the dimensions of my card first, but I didn't. Trying to see if that's going to be big enough. It takes about a minute or so for this to get ready. And I should cut that the same dimension. Let me cut that down a little bit more. So you probably want your foil and your cardstock to be about the same. I'm just going to wait for that. I can tell you about the card base and all that while we're waiting. I have a cloud cover, which is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And I've scored it in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So we're going to burnish that fold line. Okay, we'll set that aside. And let's get back to the program here. We're going to take our foil, our gold foil. You want the gold part down, facing down. And our cardstock will go on top of that. And then we have 2 plates that go on top. We have our hot foil shim. That's the green plate. And then we have our hot foil spacer plate, which is clear. All right. And we're going to push that aside because we're going to bring our cut and emboss machine up here. And if you have the big shot, it won't work because the plate is not wide enough. So you'll need to have our our cut and emboss machine, the large one. So we're going to pick this up and we're going to put that right inside of our machine, die cutting machine. And I'll bring this over. And we're going to run that through slowly. You want to go slow so it makes sure it gets the impression on the whole foil system there. And you don't go backwards again. You only go one direction. And let's set this back down out of our way. My table space isn't big enough. All right, we'll slide those off. And we'll do the reveal here. And I'm going to bring my magnetic tool over here to lift those off. And we'll set that aside. And we're going to plug in our machine again. So I'm going to set that off to the side and plug that in. And we're going to remove our foil to see what our reveal is. Look how pretty that is. And I'm going to save my negatives because they've got another plate that's coming out that's going to be able to take the opposite off of that and use on another project. So here's those. And we need to wait for it to heat up again. Then we're going to do these. All right. So in the meantime, I'm going to go over our instructions again. Like I said, we've got our card base, 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. And then we have our designer series paper, which comes from, it's the wrong one. Whoops, that's not it either. I didn't pull it out here. All right. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. All right, it's from the Velvet Metal specialty paper. And I'm using this pattern here. It has like a puffy, I don't know what it's called. Does it say on the thing? Well, it's got like a velvety raised up, and you can see very pretty. And this measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And that's going to go on the front of our card. But our machine is ready, so let's go ahead and bring that back over. I should have had these cut ahead of time, but I wanted to show the hot foil system in case everybody's wondering about it. So we're going to put our other dies onto here, and we'll press that one again. And oops, that might be inside of my card. Just making sure it's going to fit. And another white layer. Grab that one. So we've got our gold foil again and our basic white. We're just waiting for that to get heated up again. All right, I think I need to grab something. I'm forgetting my ribbon. I'll be right back. Sorry. I put it away yesterday thinking I didn't need it, but I do need it. I'm going to be using the ribbon, which is the gold striped mesh ribbon. And we're just going to use a little piece of that, so leave that set aside. I'm really disorganized today, it looks like. All right, so our machine is beeped again. We're going to put our gold foil down. And our basic white layer will go on top. All right, I did something wrong here. I don't know. I think I skipped a step here. Do I chance it? I'm going to. It says it's ready, but I didn't heat up the foil first. But let's go ahead and we shall chance it and see what happens. Bring our machine back up here. I think it is pretty forgiving if you mess up on the steps. I've seen different ones do it a little different than what the directions say. So maybe it doesn't matter that much. So let's bring our hot foil machine back over here, run that through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Good morning, Aletta. Glad you're here. I might have gone a little bit too fast on this. Let's see if we've got it messed up or not. Learn from my mistakes today. I've got something that I'm going to need. Did that transfer? Okay, we did okay. It still worked okay. You know, I messed up. Everything's fine. See, it is forgiving, even if you don't do the steps like you're supposed to. I take my dies off. All right, and we're going to move this out of our way. I think we're done with that. And we'll start assembling our card. I'm going to bring my card back over here, and we're going to attach our ribbon across that. So I'm just going to eyeball it, not measuring. I'm just going to cut that to length. It's going to go across here. And I'm going to use my Stampin' seal to attach that. And making sure which way's up here. We're going to go this way. Put a couple strips on each side. Looks like I'm running out here or something. Yeah, I think I just ran out. Well, I think I got enough down there to make it work. Let's cut that off. Time to reorder and refill. All right, it's got a cover over that. It's not sticky. And it's static cling. It's sticking to my fingers. All right, so we're going to attach our ribbon on the back side and run that across the front side. Let me see if I've got that straight. No, not really. We'll bring this up a little bit more. Oops. Well, we are having a situation today. And it's a little crinkled, but that's okay. And let's pull that a little bit tighter. All right, grab our adhesive and we're going to attach that to our card. I've got a new bottle that's coming out fast. And make sure we're opening right. And we're going to do that side. We have a small border going around. This paper is pretty. I wish you could feel what it feels like. It's soft. All right, so there's our front of our card so far. We're going to set that aside. We're going to work on our die cutting. So I'm thinking if I bring my big machine up here, I can probably cut all these at the same time. So let's do that instead of using the mini. All right, now we want the cutting dies out of this. And I just dropped one on the floor. Great. And where did it go? There it is. We don't need to lose dies during our live here. Okay. Got my plates. My base one. Our number 2 base. And a clear plate. I think I can fit these all on at the same time. Yeah, looks like it. Good deal. All right, I'm going to use some washi tape to hold these in place so they don't move on me. And hope I didn't get those too close together. I'm looking. Can I do this one or do I need to? I think I got to come back and do that one separately. Great. Well, what did I do with that die? Those didn't have a die for them, so I'm going to have to fussy cut those, but I've already fussy cut one, so let me go ahead and run these through. We don't have to go slow when we're die cutting, only when we're doing the hot foil. Okay. Had these two pretty close. I couldn't cut all of those at the same time, so we're going to have to run it through again. And let me snitch the washi tape off of that. Use that again. So, well, I may have to run these separately too. They're pretty close together. All right, I thought it was going to be faster. But then we don't want to go fast and mess up things either, so. Oops, it just moved on me. I had washi tape on there, but I guess it still moved on me. All right, that one, and now our last one here. And where did I put the die? Well, here it is. It was hiding on me. And my top plate again. Run that through. Set that out of our way. It's out of the way. And set my dies over here so I don't misplace them. Hopefully. I should have my magnetic dish over here. Okay. So get all these over here. And now we're going to layer these. So I'm going to start with the largest, and we're going to layer that onto the front of our card. And we'll go down the line here. I'm going to go ahead and put this onto my card just using my adhesive. You could put it up on dimensionals if you wanted, but we're going to put the last one up on dimensionals. Raise that up instead. And I don't want it to be too thick to be able to go through the mail, the postal system. So let me see if that's straight. It looks fairly good. Give that a little press. Get it to attach to that velvet. All right, then our next one. We'll place on top of that one. Centered. And this one is going to go on dimensionals. I'm going to take your pick tool over here. Hope everybody's had a good week. I'm going to put this one on the center of those other two. And a little bit crooked. There we go. And this is going to be for our sentiment, but we're going to stamp our B. And I've got a big enough scrap here. Nope, that's not big enough. We need a bigger one. Using that bee. Who doesn't like bees? I don't like them to sting me, but I like on cards they're cute. These don't bite, don't sting. All right, we're going to stamp that. And there's no die for this one either, so we're going to have to fussy cut it. But to save a little time, I have already done that. And we colored them using our blends. I used the Cloud Cover and the Peaceful Pine, and then Daffodil Delight for his body part. So we're not going to take the time today to do that. All right, and then our Hello came from our other stamp set, which was the Scalloped Wishes, and also our Inside Sentiment is going to be coming from that. I'm here for you if you need me. So we're going to stamp our Hello on this little die cut. I'm just going to stamp that off, make sure it looks good. All right, stamp that right in the center. All right, that's all the stamping we're going to do with that for now. We'll put that aside. And I've already fussy cut the flourish that goes on the top here. So we're going to put that onto dimensionals. And I think I'm going to use my mini dimensionals because that's a little smaller area. So let me bring those over here. Got my pack here, and we'll place a few on that to hold it. It looks like about 4 minis will do it. Get those out of our way. And I'm going to attach this to that upper portion. And we're going to attach our bee to the center of this. I'm going to kind of have them at an angle. And we're going to place a dimension on the back of this. Looks like maybe 2 will do it. And you could put it up underneath here, but I think I'm going to keep it down on the bottom right-hand corner so you get a good view of those dies there. So look at all that sparkle. And if you wanted to, you could also add a little wink of Stella, which, where is mine? Okay, a little wink of Stella to our bee. And I might do the wings, I think. Just to give it a little extra bling to go along with that gold foil bling. All right, there's the front. All right, and for the inside, we're going to work on that. It's a basic weight, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I want to grab my ink pad here. I'm going to use, this is a soft sea foam. It's kind of soft, goes along with the outside layer. And I'm going to stamp this flourish, this one right here, using that soft sea foam. I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment on the top of that. Just a little added something, something. And we'll bring our black Memento ink back over here. Yeah. I'm getting black ink all over me. And our sentiment, which says, thinking of you. We'll stamp that right in the center. I've got too much ink in my pad here. It's getting all over me. I want to make sure I don't mess up my card with my inky fingers. All right, so let's put this on the inside of our card. Not sure what that was. All right. So here's our first card. Hello, with the bee and our hot foiling. And thinking of you on the inside. Okay, I hope you like that. And I'll move everything out of the way here, and we'll get on to our second card. And try to decide which one I want to do first. I think I'm going to do this one first. Okay. Yeah, our next card, we're going to be using the Relaxing Waterside bundle, and also the Designer Series paper that goes along with that is the Waterside Retreat. I think these papers are also on that sale that's running this month, so you might want to check that out if it's something you might like. All right, let me get all my bits and pieces out here, and I'll show the card. Okay. Okay, this could be a good man card. It says relax. And then on the inside, today is your day. Have a great birthday. So it'd be good for a man birthday card. We always have problems making cards for men for some reason. I know I struggle with it. All right, so we're going to start out with our card base, which measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And this is our Old Olive cardstock. I'm going to burnish that fold line. And we're going to go with this orientation. And then next we have our Designer Series paper. I'm using this pattern. And this measures 4 3/16 inches by 5 7/16. And we're going to attach that to the front of our card. And we have the seagulls on the back side. That's pretty too. Okay, our last card today is going to be a fun fold that I've never done before. So it's kind of interesting the way it turns out. Okay, and this is going to have just a tiny edge going all around, all 4 sides. So I want to hold that up so I can see what I'm doing. And we're going to scooch it just barely to the edges. I don't know if you can see that tiny, tiny border. Just a peek of that edge. All right, and then next we have another Old Olive, which measures 3 5/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And another Designer Series paper that I cut out of that paper. It has the scenery ones. And this one measures 3 1/2 inches by 4 inches. We're going to add that to that Old Olive layer. Okay. And place that down with a small edge going all around. So that old olive just peeks around the edges. And we're going to attach that to our upper portion of our card. And again, I'm not using dimensionals. I'm just going to glue it directly down. Turn this, make sure I'm opening right. I don't want it upside down. And we'll place that towards the top, matching up the sides. An even distance. All right, so far. Okay, and then next I have a scrap of our old olive, and I'm going to stamp the chair. And okay, move that aside. I'm done with those. Okay, and the chair and our greenery. And probably our, oops, I want the relax. These are all going to be done on our old olive cardstock. But first off, I'm going to start with our chair, and I'm going to use our old olive stamp pad. And this is one of our old pads, but it still works. So I'm going to use that. I guess that accident's still going on. There's still traffic going by the house yet. It must have been a bad one. It was early this morning. And they still haven't cleared it up yet. They said all the lanes are blocked. So I pray for that family or whoever's involved. All right, so we're going to stamp our chair. Give that a good press. And then we're going to stamp some more here. And looks like I need some bigger pieces because I'm not sure these will fit. Let me try. All right. So, well, I guess it'll fit there. Use up what we have here instead of grabbing a new sheet. All right, we got that one. And a smaller one. We like to utilize all of our paper. We don't like to waste. And did I have, seems like I'm missing one. No, okay. All right, and then we're going to stamp our sentiment. And looks like we can use this corner right here. So we're going to fussy cut that out. Oops, this was on the wrong color. I want to put that onto our cloud cover. Well, I guess that'll work. Well, no, I want to grab pool party. Grab a scrap here. Do this right. All right. Stamp that with the old olive, but I didn't. I wanted the pool party cardstock. So there we are. And I'm going to switch my stamp pad to the pool party. We're going to stamp that book on the pool party cardstock. All right. And then we're going to do some die cutting here. And I'm debating, do I want to bring my big machine up here? It'll probably be faster. Let's do that. Let me move these stamps out of the way. I'm going to bring our big embossing machine back up here. And I need to grab my dies. So we're going to need this chair, those, the book, this one. I think that's all I need. So let's put those back in the envelope. All right, bring our plates back over here. And start assembling here. We're going to place a chair down onto that stamped image. And some washi tape to hold that in place. And I might be able to cut those out of there too. Our cattails. And cut this down smaller so it'll fit. And probably got to tear off some new washi tape here in a minute. Well, get that to sit right. And, well, grab the washi tape. And find the end of it. It'll be okay. I'm going to stick it on my clothes to get rid of some of the tackiness so it doesn't tear my paper. Okay, and we want to cut out our little book. Yeah, tear that down to size. All right, now our top plate, run that through. I think that's all the die cutting I have to do. So get it all in one whack. Our machine. And set those out of our way. Okay, I think we've got all of our pieces here we need now. Chair, our cattails. Am I missing anything? I think I've got it all. All right, in this we're going to fussy cut with our paper snips. And I'm just going to go around our letter. You could cut it off just in a square, but I liked it kind of rounded around the letters. All right, and we'll start assembling. All right, bring our card back over here. And I'm going to bring the Con Pie blends over here, and I'm going to color those cattails. And let me grab a scrap of paper to lay underneath so we don't get our surface all nasty. Keep it clean for a little bit. All right, we're just going to do the edges of those cattails. I remember cattails growing up. I don't see so many anymore. We have a pond, but I don't never see none on there. All right. And I'm going to grab our chair. It's going to sit right here, but we're going to place that up on dimensionals. So we'll bring those back over here. And one more there. And I'm going to place dimensionals behind our sentiment also. Okay. Now we're going to take your pick tool, pop those backings off. And we'll place our chair down. But first we're going to place this little weeds or whatever they are in the corner. And we're going to set our chair in this corner. And let's just have a little bit of that smaller grass peeking out behind it. And this one's going to go over here. But first I'm going to lay down my cattails behind it. So I'm going to do a little dry fit here to see where they're going to sit at. And it's on top. I think that looks good. And yeah. I'm just going to put a little glue at the bottom of each one. And then we'll attach this over it. And I just want those cattails to be peeking out just a little bit behind it. All right. And then we have some linen thread that I made a triple bow out of. Let me get it out of the bag here. I made ahead of time to save a little time. And we're going to place that at an angle over our cattails and our grass there. So I'm going to use a mini glue dot. Oops, that's not my glue dots. Here's the glue dots. And I'm going to put a couple of those down. They're small. These come out of our paper pumpkin kits. I like to use them. And we'll set that at a little bit of an angle. And we're going to spread those out a little bit. And then our sentiment is going to go over the top of that. And Sit down. And don't forget our little book here. It goes onto our arm of our chair. So we're going to place that down. A little bit of glue. And I'm matching up the edge of the book to the handle of the chair. So let me scooch it over just a tiny bit. All right, and then next we have our embellishments. We're going to be using, these are called the Moody Palette Glossy Dots. And I'm going to use the old olive color ones. We'll grab 3 of those. Use our take your pick tool with a little bit of help. And I'm going to put a large one and a small one side by side at the bottom right corner. And then another large one we'll put up in this corner. So there's the outside of our card. Relax. And on the inside, we have a basic white layer that's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to bring our stamps back over here. And we're going to add a little bit to the inside. Let me grab our sentiments that we didn't use. Those 2 and this one. So we're going to use our old olive ink pad again, which grab over here. And we're going to stamp our grass at the bottom. And I'm going to stamp again and move it and stamp again. And I'm going to do the same with the smaller one beside those. And how did I put this? I put the today is your day on the top. Upper left-hand corner. And have a great birthday underneath that. And that's going to go on the inside of our card. Center that. And that's a little bit crooked. Let's scooch that over a bit. Right, so there's our card number 2. Relax. Today is your day. Have a great birthday. It makes a good man card. Or woman. Doesn't have to be a man necessarily. All right. And scooch this out of the way. And then we're going to bring our fun fold over here and get started with that. This is called a staircase fun fold, which I've never done one before, but it was kind of fun. All right, I'm using the Cute as a Bug or Sweet Bugs. What is the name of this one? Yeah, Sweet Bugs stamp set. And Sweet Bugs and the bundle. And so here's our card. So you can see it puts a little twist onto our regular fold. All right, it says hello friend and spread joy on the inside along with these cute little guys. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And I'm using our old olive cardstock again for our card base. And our designer series paper, we are using the Cute as a Bug 12 by 12 designer series paper. Lots of different pretty designs in there. All right, so our card base starts out, it is our basic card size, 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches and 2 1/8 inch. So we're going to burnish those score lines. And this one's going to fold back onto itself. So it's going like a, I guess like a Z fold kind of. So we're going to set the card aside. And we're going to bring over our designer series paper. And I've got a piece of our designer series paper here that is 4 inches by, oh, I've got about 6.5 inches, but we're not using that whole thing. So we're going to be cutting it down. So we're going to bring our paper trimmer over here. And we are going to start cutting our 4-inch wide. Our first cut is going to be 1 1/4 inches. So I'll make sure I'm on camera view here. So 1 1/4. And you want to keep these in order. So I'm going to just slide them down here. 1 1/4 and 1 inch. I'll have all these dimensions on my blog later today. Another one at 1 inch. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. Another one at 1 inch. And our last one is going to be 1 1/4 inches. So slide this over. All right, and this is just an extra piece we can use for something later on. So we're going to take that first one and we're going to cut that down to, it would be 1 1/4 inches by 2 inches. So that's an extra. Our next one is going to be 1 inch by 2.5 inch. And we're keeping the one on the left side and throwing away the right side. We want these to match up with each other. This one is 1 inch by 3 inches. So toss that, save this. And our next one is going to be 1 inch by 3.5 inches. And then our last one is going to be 4 inches wide. So we don't cut that one. All right, now we're going to grab our card. And I need my silicone mat over here. I'm going to grab that because we're going to do some gluing. So we're just going to put glue all along this flap here. So, but you want to keep a little bit of edge without glue. And it's going to go completely top to bottom. And all the way to this inner edge. So just add our glue there sparingly. And then we're going to start layering. So I'm going to start at the bottom. And I'm going to put that right up against that bottom edge. Keeping a little space on the side, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to start layering these on top of each other. So once you got the cutting part done, it's really simple. It comes together really fast. Yeah, it looks like we're good on time. try to cut that one a little bit bigger, so we're going to have to trim that down there at the top. So there we have our staircase. I'm going to go ahead and cut out this excess right here. Grab my scissors. We'll snip that off straight with our card base. All right. Very cute. But we're not done yet. Let me burnish this so it'll lay down flat. All right. So the inside of our card is just our basic white, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. That's going to sit inside. We're going to go ahead and decorate that first before we get started here. And let me grab a drink of water here. Okay, so our Designer Series paper has our critters that match with our dies. So that makes it easy. We're going to grab the dies that coordinate with those. Okay, so we have the 3 ants here, marching ants, and our caterpillar. And I'm going to grab my mini machine over here. And the plates. Takes up less room. A lot lighter. Not lifting any weights today. All right, so I'm going to grab my 2 plates. And we'll grab some of that washi tape and hold them in place. Match that up. And our little ants here. We like these kind of ants. We don't like the ones that are at a picnic stealing our food. All right, get that situated. I think that moved on me. What did I do with my extra washi tape here? Well, I thought I had some cut. Here we go. We don't want them moving. All right, where are their feet? I'm trying to line up their feet. All right, and then we'll run that through. I cut those. Oops. I think that one's moving on me too. I'm going to secure that one. I don't want no mess ups. All right, we've got Miss Squeaky back here again. But she does the job. Set her down on the floor also, out of the way. Get our plates out of the way here. Now these cut out separately. They're not joined together. So we want to make sure we don't lose any of these little guys. They're so cute. All right, so we're going to bring our inside layer back over here. And well, okay. I'm going to use that for the road part. And Hello Friend and Spread Joy are the stamps that we need. I'm going to stamp these using our Old Olive ink pad. All these stamp pads all open a different way, so I was kind of struggling there for a minute. All right, and I want my old olive scrap here. I'm going to stamp Hello Friend on that. Hello Friend. And Spread Joy is going to go on the inside. Up in our upper right hand corner. And then our little walkway. Okay, close up that ink pad. And we're going to start fitting our critters on here. And I'm going to start with the little guy in the back first. We can get everybody on here. Oops, he goes in the front. The little guy with the flag goes in the middle. And even if my caterpillar hangs over a little bit, we can cut him down to size. So I'm not going to worry about him. So we'll start with our little ant here and put him on that right lower corner. Little guy with a flag. Put him up a little bit higher. And got a glue gob there I had to pull off of my glue. And this little guy is going to go right there. All right, and then we'll do our caterpillar. And I guess I can fit them all on here. All right, now that's going to go on the inside of our card. Bring that over. Okay, that looks good. Spread Joy. All right, and then for the outside, I'm going to use our old olive rickrack ribbon, specialty rickrack. And I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. I'm not really measuring it. Can always trim it down if it's too big. And we're going to add that to the front of our card. And I put it right about there. And I'm going to use our regular glue dots. That's something that's going to hold it in place really good. So take your pick tool, grab a couple of those dots off of this. And one more. I'll be glad when they get them back on the roll like they used to be. I don't like them how they have them now. All right, and then we're going to place this down, and I need another one. Attach them together, kind of overlapping a little bit. Oops. And then our sentiment, we're going to fussy cut that out. We'll attach that over that rickrack. All right, it's going to sit over the top of that. And it's kind of covering that little guy, so I think I'm going to put it off to the side a little bit more. So we're going to add our dimensionals on that right side. And where's my dimensionals? They have disappeared on me. Maybe I've covered them up here. All right, well, I'll grab a new sheet. And I'm going to just put dimensionals on that right side. Because I don't want to cover up this little guy down here in the corner. Okay, but we're not done yet. We're going to grab our embellishments, which are the ladybug garden epoxy shapes. And I'm going to grab some ladybugs to add to our card. And oops, got to use the pointy end for this. And kind of spread them around a little bit. I'm going to use 3 ladybugs. And then 2 of the clear. I'm holding my card closed so I can kind of manipulate the opening so they'll show on the front of the card. And then we're going to grab some clear ones here to add to the front of our card. And I'm thinking I might put one on that leaf there. And a small one can go, where do we want it? Where do we need some more sparkle at? Maybe, I don't know. Decisions. We'll put 2 on the leaf there. Looks like water drops. Okay, so hello friend, and it opens and it shows the inside. Spread cheer with those cute little critters on the inside. So I hope you enjoyed that. And it's kind of a fun play on a fun fold. And let me press that down a little bit more. All right. Cute, cute. All right, let me bring our cards out here and we'll close up for the day. So let me get those all in view. Hope you enjoyed those today, and I hope you'll share the video with your friends and family. And I will be back next week again, same time, same channels, and it will be August 13th, 2026. So until then, y'all have a good rest of your week. I hope you get time in to spend some time crafting and get some me time in there. So, bye-bye.